Have you ever met the guy that you wanted to hate? And when you went to pull your straps up, he told you to wait. Now let me give y'all a little demonstration. See, I ran into these dudes from the area nation. It was a Friday, my day, exit off the highway. Me and Derelict in the caddy, yo, the flyway. Went to get a package of beaties. I was enjoying this immaculate evening. All of a sudden I heard somebody, what up, fam? Peace and love. This is yours truly, General Pow Shadowz, also known as the author, P.E. McCallum, author of the book, NGR, What Does It Mean? An expose on the N-word from a hip-hop perspective, available on Amazon right now in paperback, audiobook, and Kindle. So I suggest that you run out and get your book, because on this NGR platform, what we do is we cover information in this book, and we cover issues and topics surrounding the N-word in society and you know, in the world and things like that. Hey, yo, excuse my voice this week. Pardon my voice, y'all. I had a show. As y'all know, not only am I the author of this great and fantastic book, your modern day Bible on the N-word, okay, if I will, but I'm also an MC currently, and I had a show this week here in Nashville, where I am, downtown Broadway Central, and at JBJ's. It was good, so I kind of lost my voice, excuse me. But you know, it's all for a good cause, right? Rocking that microphone, yeah, because even though I am an author, everything I do on this platform is from a hip-hop perspective. So, you know, music flows through my veins. But this week we want to address something that is really you know, pressing, that I think I've really been wanting to address, and that's the terms, like, y'all hear me on this platform all the time talk about how I don't like to use the terms black and white, right? So I always talk about how, you know, I say black and indigenous, and you'll notice throughout my book, I use these terms black and indigenous. I never just say black people, and I definitely don't say African American, because I don't believe that these terms properly define who we are as so-called black and indigenous people. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, currently we have terms out there that are accepted, that are generally accepted terms. We have one of the newer terms is foundational Black American, something that was coined by Dr. Claude Anderson and kind of picked up by Tariq Nasheed, the author and filmmaker. And, you know, so this has kind of been something that's been accepted in general, I think, in modern times by like the conscious community. And I think that that would be an appropriate term if you're discussing black, so-called black people, or black and indigenous people, as I like to say, black and indigenous people who are born in America and whose parents are born in America, mother and father, and subsequently grandparents and things of that nature. These would be considered foundational Black Americans. All right. Then you have a lot of Black Americans. You have a lot of Black, quote unquote, Black Americans who are from other places, like the Caribbean islands, like Jamaica, like Trinidad. Then you also Guyana, but then what about the Black people like you know, in Belize? You know, what about these Black people? But these wouldn't be considered foundational Black Americans, but we all get grouped under the terminology of Black, right? So Black is considered to be the general term that, whether you agree with a foundational Black American point of view, or whether you agree with a, you know, revolutionary or Pan-African point of view, Black is a terminology that seems to be, you know, universal among quote unquote Black and indigenous people in America. And what I like to do is explore these terms Black just on this particular episode of the show, because I think, you know, it's something that I use a lot. I use the term a lot here on the show, and I really want us to, I keep saying, you know, we're gonna address like what, you know, Black really means, and we're gonna deal with that. So let's go. That's what we want to do today. on this NGR platform is we want to go into and look at what does black mean? Why you calling yourself a black person, even a foundational black American? What does it mean? When you call these people white people, right? We don't use these terms on this platform without proper context, because we really got to get into what these terms mean, all right? So that's what we want to deal with today. And, we also want to want to talk about a situation I've seen in the news recently. I've seen in the news that I want to mention, and I have something to say about that as well. But we'll get into that later. If you have a copy of my book, I suggest you turn to page 122. Actually, we'll start at page 121. And I want you to read along with me. This is in my book, NGR, What Does It Mean? An Expose on the N-Word from a Hip-Hop Perspective. Page 121. I must stress that no matter if you think so-called black people in America should be called black, Negro, African American, nigga, or NGR, this should not be a dividing factor among black and indigenous people. And again, remember, my book, NGR, the title of my book, NGR, comes from the fact that the word nigga first appears in the hieroglyphics as NGR. All right, and it meant deity, god, or goddess, or something of that nature. Also appears in Ethiopia as Negus. And we know the term NGR originally meant god, goddess, deity, king, queen, ruler, emperor, monarch, or something like that. But as I was saying, as far as my quest to define the word black 25 years ago, I can recall my friends and I picking up a dictionary, not online, and looking up the terms black and white. What we learned 25 years ago was interesting and enlightening, and I'd like to give you, the reader, the same experience and enlightenment. You might find the word black to be odious and distasteful. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary on merriam-webster.com defines black as 1, having the very dark color of the night sky or the eye's pupil. 2, or less commonly black, A, of or relating to any of various population groups of especially African ancestry, often considered as having dark pigmentation of the skin, but in fact having a wide range of skin colors. 3, dressed in black, playing for the black team. 4, dirty, soiled, hands black with grime. 5, characterized by the absence of light. 6, thoroughly sinister or evil, wicked. 7, connected with or invoking the supernatural and especially the devil. 8, very sad, gloomy, or calamitous. These are your definitions of the word black. And did you notice how on number 2, they slid in of or less commonly black, A, of or relating to any various population groups of especially African ancestry, often considered as having dark pigmentation of the skin. Now let's look in the same dictionary and see how it defines the term white. 1, A, having the color of new snow or milk. B, light or pale in color. C, free from color. D, lustrous, pale, gray, silver. 2, A, or less commonly white, of or relating to any various population groups as considered having light pigmentation of the skin. B, or less commonly white, of or relating to white people or their culture. C, dated, offensive, marked by upright fairness. 3, free from spots or blemish such as A, 1, free from moral impurity, innocent, the pure white heart of the devout. B, unmarked by writing or printing. C, not intended to cause harm. D, archaic, favorable, fortunate. 4, A, wearing or habited in white. 5, A, heated to the point of whiteness. B, notable artist, passionate. In comparing these two definitions, one can easily see the negative contrast between black and white. The N-word is synonymous with black. We see how black is defined in a dictionary. Here's what I know. After closely looking at the definition of the word black, I'm not so sure it is a proper term to define so-called black people in America and in the diaspora. NGR, meaning emperor, ruler, king, empress, etc., seems more relevant in comparison. However, NGR converted to nigger has such a horrible reputation, many people may choose to abandon these words altogether, or at the very least, begin controlling the narrative. So, that was found on page 121 through 125 in my book, NGR, an expose on the N-word from a hip-hop perspective. NGR, what does it mean? An expose on the N-word from a hip-hop perspective. So, please, you can get that on Amazon in paperback, audiobook, and Kindle. So, as you see, these terms, black and white, in my opinion, all right, are not favorable terms that we should be calling ourselves as black and indigenous people or as people of European descent, which is, I think, a better description to call white people. I mean, you know, just look at the contrast. And you know, they tell you this is the term, the definition for the people of African descent with black or dark pigmentation in their skin. And this is the term, these are the terms applied to people of white-skinned or fair-skinned people. And, you know, it's all these aggrandizing definitions and descriptions and defining terms. So, yeah, we may want to look at that. And that's why, you know, on this platform, a lot of times you hear me say, you know, I don't use the terms black and white on this platform. Yeah, you'll notice that I don't do that. There's a reason for that. And I think that now we have some more clarity about that. Why I don't think the terms black and white. You can get in the comments and tell me, what do you think about the terms black and white? Do you use them? I just wanted you to know without a doubt of why we don't on this platform. I wanted to talk a little bit about this, something I saw in the newspaper, in the newspaper, something I saw in the news recently about a article about, there's breaking news. DoorDash girl arrested and charged with 2 felonies for weaponizing her whiteness against a brother, a black and indigenous citizen. She was DoorDashing for him, and what happened was she came upon his apartment to deliver the food, and his door was open, and he was unclothed. Apparently, he passed out. He was obviously asleep, and it wasn't like a creepy situation where he was wide awake with his pants down or unclothed and inviting her in or saying hey and, you know, trying to do some kind of voyeurism. It wasn't that kind of situation. The man obviously had passed out. He was tired. He ordered some food, and all the girl had to do was drop the food, maybe knock on the door to wake the man up, let him know his door was open or whatever. But she decided to go online, take video of it, post video of it, of him laying there naked on the couch. And she took it a step further. After she posted it online, of course, she got ridiculed for posting that video online. That's a crime. That's why she's been charged with 2 felonies. But she actually tried to say that she was assaulted, that she was sexually assaulted, that he was trying to do some type of aspect of voyeurism, or, you know, how people, you know, sexually expose themselves to women, when the man was just asleep on the couch. And, you know, she claimed to be a victim of racism, a victim of sexual assault. And she actually tried to say that she was the victim and weaponize her whiteness against this man. You know, things like this are horrible for race relations. Here we have another situation where, and you know, she got fired from DoorDash.
And I've spoken these in previous videos about how now what the white supremacists are doing, or just white people in general, they're getting in trouble, and then they're coming online and they're saying, "Hey, I'm in trouble. Can you help me? I'm being punished for, I'm being fired for, my whiteness, and I'm being attacked by the system, and I'm being punished for my whiteness for, I'm a victim of this black man, and pay me." So what she'll probably do is she'll probably set up a GoFundMe account, and she probably already has, and the white supremacists and the racists will pour money into her because it has become profitable to weaponize your whiteness and blame a black and indigenous person for your financial and economic problems. So, but this is horrible for race relations, and I just encourage, I disencourage white people from participating in that, and I want to encourage you all to not participate in those types of things, because race relations in this country are not getting any better because of situations like this. But if we want to live and have a society that's healthy and thriving, with people of all nationalities, because let's face it, all these people and nationalities have to live in the country together and not going anywhere. So wouldn't it seem better to just strive to get along and have better race relations and create situations? These things create further division in our country. And just like the terms black and white create further division. It's like you have a chessboard, and you have the black pieces and you have the white pieces on the chessboard. And they are obviously ops. They're ops. They're the enemies. And that's what it feels like. That's why we don't use these terms black and white. And it creates this type of weaponization for people on both sides. And but I disencourage you from participating. It's shame on this girl of European descent. She's been charged with 2 felonies, and apparently it didn't work. So it doesn't always work out for you. This is yours truly, General Pow, encouraging you all to continue to hip step. Keep hip stepping, which simply means, step over all your goals with the right attitude, over all your obstacles. Step over all your obstacles towards your goals with the right attitude, with the right mentality. Don't let anything get in your way. No opposition, no ops. Hip step over that. It's a mentality. It's a way of thinking. And continue to spread love, not hate, fam. Don't we got enough hate in the world? I think it's obvious that we got enough hate in the world, And don't contribute to that. You know what I mean? Peace and love. Spread love, though.